Hello everyone. Today we are going to understand about MLOps. So what is MLOps? MLOps is machine learning operations. And if we start with the definition about machine learning operation, you can see MLOps or machine learning operations is a set of practices, tools and processes that aim to streamline and automate the end-to-end machine learning lifecycle. It combines principles from DevOps, data engineering, and machine learning to ensure that ML models are developed, deployed, monitored, and maintained efficiently and reliably. But this kind of explanation a bit vague, right? So that is why I thought I should create a video or a story so that you will understand these things better. And that is why I have created a story for you. And in the story only, first I will explain the story, and at the end of the story, I will connect the MLOps and the story so that you will get the intuition about MLOps. And the story name is The Biryani Mastery, a story of growth. Okay, so I hope you guys will enjoy the story. So let's start the story. So you can see a boy. His name is Ravi. Okay. So Ravi was just a guy who loved good food. Okay. Now one day what happened? At his best friend Amar's birthday party, everyone brought something to eat. Okay. And likewise Ravi also decided to make something. So he decided to make a special dum biryani that he has learned from his grandmother. Now, as soon as the biryani was served, the party went silent. Aman took a bite and exclaimed, "Bro, this is insane. Where have you been hiding this talent?" And one by one, the guests tasted it. And soon everyone was raving about it. "This is restaurant level biryani. You should start a business. I would pay for this any day." And that night, as Ravi lay in bed, he thought, what if I really did start a business? And as you know, to start a business, you need some motivation. And Ravi got that business motivation by his friends. And then, as he got the motivation, so Ravi set up a small, very small food stall near a busy market. And every morning he would wake up early, go to the market, buy fresh ingredients, and then prepare the same dum biryani he made at the party. And on the first day, people loved it. And by the evening, he was completely sold out. But as weeks passed, Rabi started facing a few serious challenges. The ingredients struggle every day. Ravi had to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the market and buy fresh rice, spices, meat, and vegetables for the biryani. And some days, certain ingredients were out of stock, forcing him to change the recipe slightly, which customer noticed. And one day, when what happened, he forgot to buy cardamom, okay, and the biryani lacked his signature aroma. And one customer asked, okay, something's different today. Did you change the recipe? Now, to fix this, Ravi partnered with a supplier who would deliver fresh ingredients daily, eliminating the need for last minute market runs. And he also started tracking ingredient levels also to ensure he never ran out. Now, the next challenge was keeping the taste consistent every day. What was happening? Some days the biryani tasted perfect, and other days it was either too spicy or not flavorful enough. And Ravi realized his mistake. And the mistake was he was eyeballing ingredients instead of using some precise measurements, and that was causing this inconsistency. So what Ravi did, he wrote down exact spice requirements and the cooking times. He also introduced a digital weighing scales to ensure every batch tasted the same. Now, next is to scale up the business as more customers arrive daily. Cooking for so many people become difficult. And even after hiring an assistant chef also, it was still quite difficult. And because of that, he has opened a second food stall across the town. However, chef there couldn't replicate the same biryani taste. Now to solve this, Rabi trained the new chef using a step-by-step cooking procedure and tasted the biryani before launching the second stall. It was a pretty good idea that he has done. Okay. Now next, what he did, he started understanding his customer preferences one day. So two loyal customers gave him some conflicting feedback. What were those feedback? Like, I love your biryani, but can you make it a bit spicier? Someone said, your biryani is amazing, but I prefer a bit milder. Okay. So Ravi realized that different customers had different tastes, right? So he started collecting customer feedbacks daily and made two versions. One is mild dum biryani, another one is spicy dum biryani. And he also started experimenting new recipes. He wanted to introduce mutton dum biryani and paneer biryani for vegetarians. But what he did, instead of launching them in all the stalls at once, he first tested them at his original location. If customers liked them, he expanded them to other stalls. That simple the idea was. Okay. But one day one issue happened. A supplier delivered low quality rice by mistake. And that day biryani turned out dry and customer noticed that. So what he did? Ravi immediately stopped serving that batch and switched back to his old rice supplier. Okay. Now, as his business was growing, right, he has to automate few of the processes. So, what processes he has automated? A digital inventory system to track ingredient labels. Then he has added timers to alert chefs when the biryani was perfectly cooked. The next is he had a mobile feedback app where customers could rate their biryani. Okay, and with these improvements, Ravi's dum biryani became a household name in the city. And now, ensuring consistency across all the locations, Ravi expanded his business and he realized that every new kitchen setup required configuring different cooking tools and ingredients, and this led to inconsistency. Now, to fix this inconsistency, he started using a pre-packaged ingredient kits, ensuring every stall followed the same preparation steps no matter where they are located. Now, by doing this, he was able to make sure the food taste, the biryani taste will be consistent in all the stalls. Okay. Now we will try to connect with this whole story. Few of the we'll try to pick few of the components from the story, and we will try to connect with the MLOps concepts. So here you can see the business challenge. So I have listed few of the business challenge that Ravi had in his business. And after that, I will explain which MLOps tools or things we are connecting here. First of all, buying ingredients daily manually. right? He was doing it very beginning. Okay, so the MLOps content is automated data pipelines. So you can use automated data pipelines. That is a concept in MLOps. Okay, and which part it is connecting? Just like Ravi set up a supplier to deliver fresh ingredients daily, MLOps pipelines automate data collection and processing to ensure fresh and reliable data is provided. Okay. The next, what he was doing, standardizing the recipe. So for this, we have CI/CD in machine learning. CI means continuous integration, CD means continuous development or deployment. Okay, and we can perform the CI/CD using GitHub Actions or GitLab CI/CD. Like Ravi wrote down the exact spice requirement to ensure the consistency. CI/CD ensures models perform the same across all the environments. Okay. Now next is expanding the food stalls. That is connecting with the scaling up ML models. That is connecting with the scaling up in ML models. And then the MLOps tools. You can use Kubernetes or TensorFlow serving to scale up your application. Now, explanation is Ravi's new food stalls needed the same quality of biryani. Similarly, Kubernetes helps scale ML models while maintaining consistency. The next is adjusting spice labels based on customer preferences. That we call continuous model monitoring that we perform using Prometheus, evidently AI. And just like Ravi introduced mild and spicy variants based on the feedback, model monitoring tools track performance and adjust ML models accordingly. Now the next is testing new biryani recipes. This is we call A/B testing for ML models. And for that we can use MLflow or DBC to perform such as A/B testings. Now likewise, Ravi first tested new biryani types at one location before expanding. A/B testing helps validate ML model changes before the full deployment. Next is handling bad ingredients that we call model rollback, and that we can do using MLflow's model registry. So what happened when bad rice affected the biryani? Ravi quickly switched suppliers. Similarly, ML model registries allow rolling back to a previous stable version. So somehow if your model is degrading, you can roll back to the last model that you had so that your performance will always be consistent. Okay. The last but not the least, using ingredient kits for uniformity. Okay, so that the concept we connect with containerization and portability, and that we can perform using Docker. Now Ravi's pre-packaged ingredient kits ensured consistency across all the locations. Just like Docker containers keep ML models consistent across different environments. Okay, and now we will try to understand what was there without MLOps. Okay, so you can see a few of the stages I have mentioned here. These are all the steps in ML project lifecycle. Okay, so the first one is data collection and preparation. It's self-explanatory, right? Like, as you know, data scientists manually collected the data and cleaned the data, and data pipelines were often ad hoc and little versioning or reproducibility they had. Next is model development. So data scientists experimented with algorithms and hyperparameters in isolated environments such as your Jupyter notebook that we use. And that experiment tracking was also manual, with results often stored in spreadsheets, all notes. Okay. Then model training. Models were trained on local machines or small clusters, limiting the scalability. There was no systematic way to version models or track training configurations. The next is model evolution and deployment. Once your model is evaluated and it has passed your minimum threshold, and once it is deployed, models were rarely monitored for performance or data drift. And retraining was infrequent and manual, leading to the outdated models. And because of these stages, we had few issues. So first is lack of reproducibility. Experiments, data and models were not versioned, and that is making it hard to reproduce the same output. Okay. Next, slow time to production. Manual processes and handoffs between teams cause delays in deploying models. Models often go stuck in the experimentation phase and never made it to production. Next is the poor communication. Data scientists, data engineer, or operation teams used different tools and workflows, leading to miscommunication and insufficiencies. Next is scalability issues. Training and deploying models at scale was challenging due to lack of automation and infrastructure. Okay. The next is model decay. Models were not monitored or retrained regularly, leading to performance degradation over time. Okay, that was the issue in model decay. And the last but not the least is lack of governance. There was no systematic way to ensure the compliance, fairness, or security of the ML models. Okay, and that is why we have introduced MLOps. And now I am going to explain how MLOps is solving these kind of issues. Again, guys, MLOps is not any tool or something. MLOps is a principle that we follow. And now to achieve these MLOps principles, we have different tools that is introduced to maintain those principles. That's simple it means. Okay. Now, first is reproducibility. MLOps tools can version your data, version your code, as well as version your model, ensuring experiments can be reproduced. Okay. Next is faster time to production. You can use automated CI/CD pipelines to streamline the process of testing, deploying, and updating your models. And data scientists or data engineers collaborate more effectively and reducing handoff delays. Next is improved collaboration. Shared tools and workflows such as your experiment tracking output, your version control, that will bridge the gap between the teams. Okay? And you can do cross-functional teamwork together seamlessly. The next is scalability. MLOps leverage cloud infrastructure and distributed computing to handle large datasets and complex models. Kubernetes and other orchestration tools enable scalable deployments. The next is continuous monitoring and retraining. Models are monitored in real time for performance. Data drift and concept drift, everything is monitored in real time. And as well as we can automate the retraining pipeline, ensure that our models are always up to date. And again, the last but not the least, governance and compliance. MLOps provides tools for explainability, fairness, and security. Audit trails and logs ensure compliance with regulations. So these are these 5 to 6 facts that is there, and because of this only we need MLOps. And I hope guys you have understood what is MLOps, what are the benefits of MLOps, and what are problems we had before MLOps.